Hello, I am Diana Gomez Manjarrez. I am from Mexico, from a small town called Texcoco, which is about an hour's drive from Mexico City now. Probably is part of Mexico City as we speak. I am 28 years old and I live in Unley. I've been living here in Unley for, maybe 20 years now. When we first migrated to Australia, uh, we settled here on Dunks Street. That was our first rental property with my mom, my sister, and I. We came to Australia because she was doing a PhD at the University of Adelaide at the Waite campus. And at the time, obviously, we came here and we didn't know anything. We didn't know how far away the Waite campus was. We didn't even know what bus to take or anything. And a very kind lady at the University of Adelaide recommended Unley as a good spot for schools, and it's quite close to the Waite campus. So we said, okay, let's look for a rental property here in Unley. Unley's 2 kilometers away from the city and from my old primary school, and 6 kilometers to the Waite campus. So it was the perfect place for us to call our new home. Unley Oval is actually really close to my heart because when I started primary school here in Australia, the principal at the school that I was at, he started an athletics club, and I thought this is a good thing I could do because I don't speak a lot of English and it's very basic. You just have to run, and you just have to run very fast. But at the same time, you meet other people. So it's a team sport, but not really at the same time. So I joined the athletics club and I started training. I remember we had trainings on Mondays. And then I thought, I want to be really good at this. I really like running. So I told my mom and she said, okay, I'm going to help you train. And we came to the Unley Oval because it was very close to our home. And my first competition that I had to do was long distance running. And it was 2.5 kilometers. And I remember that my mom and I, we walked around the oval and we calculated roughly how many laps I would need to do and how big the oval is. And according to our calculations, she said, okay, you have to do 5 laps. And what you have to do is I'll time you and then we'll improve your time that way. Just do 5 laps and we can go from that. And my sister used to come with us as well, and running is not her thing, so she would come run 1 or 2 laps with me, and after that she would go away and go and play at the playground, which is at the top of that hill over there. There used to be a pirate sheep there, so she would just go and play by herself, and my mom would ride her bike next to me, timing me and shouting at me to run faster and to motivate me. So I remember we used to do that definitely at least twice a week on top of my normal athletics club training. And so I spent so much time here, and sometimes I didn't want to run, and I was like, oh, I'm really good, it doesn't matter, or I don't want to win, like I just want to relax. And she'd be like, no, it's really good for you. You need to try, you need to learn. And this was also a really good thing for me to stay connected with my dad, because my dad at the time was in Mexico. He was studying his master's, and he, in his younger years, he also used to run, just casual running and stuff. And we would talk over the phone, and he would tell me, you have to warm up before and you have to cool down after and try and do this stretch and that stretch. And, running was just, I don't know, I really loved it, and I really liked the talent. And, I think it really taught me quite a lot of things, discipline. And like I said, it also kept me connected to my dad in Mexico and with my sister and my mom. And I was really lucky because I came training here, and I've won a couple of awards. I came 4th in state. I think I came 3rd once as well. And after a while, my principal, he realized I really liked running, and I was also helping my peers. And in primary school, I became the sports person of the year. It was the first year that award had been created. So it was really important for me, and it was like, yes, I remember this because I spent all this time at the Unley Oval, and I think I didn't realize, but this is where I trained, and this is where I pushed myself. So I've got one photograph where the night that I became the sports person of the year, the picture that you have there is a picture of me with my very long hair. I used to have very, very long ponytail and this huge trophy that I'm carrying, and it's my name on the very first line. And the other picture that I want to show is also a picture of my mom, my sister, and I at our first sports evening presentation where I won an award for participating in the athletics club. Those two photos, I think, I really loved them. My father wasn't there when I won my first participation award, and so we took that photo and we sent it to him. And I think it was maybe 1 year after he had settled in Australia and had joined us that I won that sports person award. So, he was really proud of me, I remember. And actually, my Australian grandparents were not there on the night that I was awarded this giant trophy. So I said, we have to go to see, Liling and John, who actually live down the road. And I want to show them this giant trophy because they've helped my family and they've helped my mom, and I want to show her that we did it all together. So that photo is actually literally taken probably 20 minutes after the event ended, and we rushed over to show them the trophy. I'm very lucky that I've had quite positive experiences. One of the things that I remember the most, first of all, is avocado was so expensive. It wasn't even a thing. And we were so sad that we couldn't get avocados because we love avocado in Mexico. And mangoes as well was so expensive. When people said, when they heard from us that we were from Mexico, they would say, oh, Mexico, and soccer and tacos. So, like I said, I've had a very positive experience telling people that I'm from Mexico. People have always been intrigued as to, they're like, why did you come all the way out here to Australia? Did you get lost? Because lots of Mexicans go to the United States. That's our natural migration path, pretty much. And they're like, no, we're a student. And like, oh, okay. We thought you got lost because it's so far away from Mexico, coming to Australia. So I think also settling in Adelaide was very challenging because the very few Mexicans that do migrate, they go to bigger cities like Melbourne or Sydney, where maybe avocado wasn't so expensive. But I think migrating to Adelaide was a bit lonely at the beginning because we didn't actually know that there were other Mexicans, if there were other Mexicans. And, we really wanted to learn about Australian culture and we really wanted to integrate. But I think at the same time, I think we really missed our food. We really missed tortillas and avocados and coriander because we have such a strong connection with food, especially my family, and so it was quite hard to adapt initially. But then we learned barbecue and we fell in love with barbecue and lamb chops because Australian produce is really great. And we fell in love with wine, South Australian wine in particular. And, it was through all those little things that we started to really love and really integrate in Adelaide, I think. I am really lucky. I have two cultures. I am Mexican and I am Australian. And that is a huge benefit. I think that it's really important to keep your culture alive because, Australia lets you share your experiences. It's such a strong part of your identity as well. It guides who you are. And I think also it connects you to your past as well, I think. And it guides you to your future. I think that sometimes I'm faced with a challenging situation. I don't know, I'm indecisive or, I want to quit my job sometimes because I don't like it. I don't know. And I think, well, no, I'm Mexican and I migrated here and it was really tough then. I can do this. And it gives me this inner strength almost, I think. Sometimes it's nice not to have to be asked where you are from. And sometimes it's nice not to have to explain to people why you migrated here. And when I go to Mexico, nobody asks me those questions because I look like them, And that's really great. But also when I go to Mexico, I'm like, I would really, something, if I was in Australia, everybody would bring a salad because it's really hot and we wouldn't be having hot broth at the moment, Culture is so fluid. And I think that having lots of different cultures around us actually helps us grow as people. I think it builds bridges between us. It helps us understand us better as a community. And the reality, I think people may not realize, but multiculturalism has brought so many positive things for us. You and I have a cappuccino every morning, and for lunch we'll have a banh mi, and for dinner we'll have roast pork or roast beef. Like, that would not be possible without groups, without people migrating here, and without you accepting that we are here to be here. And you welcomed us here, or you, I mean, community in general, and they're accepting of new cultures. And I think that if we are like that in an open, I guess more like an open heart, just be thankful that we have these cultures available to us, I think people, they'll be a lot more willing to share their cultures. So I think, culturally it's a really great thing that we have so many different people around us.
Do you feel that you belong in Australia? Is this your home?
I would say yes now. I think if you'd asked me that question maybe 10 years ago, I would say no. I think having a visa to be in Australia is more like a license. You have a permission to be here. And I've always thought that way. I said, no, I am Mexican and I'm only living in Australia temporarily until whenever. I don't know what that whenever would be. And I've always said, I'm only here temporarily. Yes, I like being here, but it's only temporary. And it wasn't until actually after a gap year, like most Australian young kids out of high school, they take a year off. I went to Mexico to be with my grandmother, learn some Spanish, learn how to be Mexican, I guess. I realized actually, I think Australia is very good for me. I think Australia has really opened up my eyes to a lot of things. And I think I can give Australia a lot more than what I have been offering it. And I don't know, I think slowly I realized that Australia is my home and I should contribute to my home and that I can contribute to my home. And again, I went away again overseas for a year to study. I lived in the Netherlands for a year, and it was at that moment when I realized, wow, I'm actually 50% Mexican and 50% Australian. And I am able to move between these two cultures, fluidly. I am able to connect with two cultures at a very good level, and I understand these two cultures very well. And that's when I was like, Australia's my home.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.